Our agricultural program, is really trying to bring the new farmer into the mix. It's basically a farming business now. It's not just the normal mom and pop farm. It has to do with all the new innovations that are coming in, the technologies, the process of doing the migration of water now that water is becoming such an institution of reverence that we have to take care of and be very careful of how we use that. But also in regards to how that manager now, more so the farmer, is being able to make a difference in regards to his yields, his bottom line costs that he has to produce and make obviously his money, but also to make those people available to other agricultural industries that have that knowledge, have that education, both the field work and the coursework, to come in and be an innovative worker for them and our manager that can help them again prosper. Okay, that's one thing. The nuclear program, we have a great process out there at Hanford. We're now in that cleanup mode, but we're going to go back into somewhat of an operation mode with the waste treatment plant. And so now what we're trying to do is look at what can we do to help our workers out there that are now starting to retire and bring those people in to give that knowledge back to these younger workers that are coming up that are going to be taking their places over the next 10, 15, 20 years and provide the services that we need for waste treatment plant and other activities on the Hanford site. That's for another 50, 60 years we have activities out there to go. So we're trying to innovate there in those programs. Nursing program, huge amount of effort there. Great stories to tell. I wish I had a couple of hours to do that. I just don't. But I wish I did.
Don't.
But again, it's the same thing there. Is that we are growing the health community across this nation, but particularly here in the Tri-Cities, and we have been very, very blessed with the amount of success we've had in our nursing program. The students really react well to our instructors and our professors, but it's those people that are instilling the effort of giving back and understanding that is a source that takes a special person, it takes a special need, and it also does great things for our community when the need is there. And a good nurse is someone that you always can depend on, and we've all had those experiences. Although doctors are very, very important, our nurses are just as important in giving us those little extra special nuances that we don't normally always get.
All right, well, that's all good news. That really is good news. But what if somebody is out there in our audience right now who's thinking, I got to change careers. Boy, the direction I'm going, either that job isn't going to be there in a couple of years, or I'm just not happy doing that. Can they come to CBC and get some counseling or some direction about what might be a new option, new opportunity for them?
Absolutely. They can come to our Career Center and talk with any of our career counselors. They also can just even come to the foundation office. If they're having some issues or concerns about how they're going to fund this, that's really where it starts. We always find there's a lot of opportunity that people want to do something. They know they need to do something, but maybe the financial side isn't there. And that's where we like to see them come to us at the foundation office. Let us help guide them in regards to giving some recommendations on what they can do and who to see. And that's the first point. But the first point is to get them in the door. We want to talk to them, we want to see them, we want to help guide them. And we want to take all that presence off of them in regards to where they started, where they are at, what their current situation is. We just want to be able to have the opportunity to talk to them, give them some guidance, and see if we can help them go further.
So you think the foundation is a good first stop?
We do.
Yeah. Because money, it all comes down to money for a lot of people. It certainly does. I mean, there's the cost of the tuition, books, or whatever, but
Correct.
There's also living costs.
Correct.
And have to be able to do those two at one time. So just speak with me a little bit right now about scholarships available through the foundation.
Sure. We have several types of scholarships available through the foundation, and it all depends on that person's specific need and also what they're interested in doing, and also what we can do to help them get started. And so for us, we'll have our foundation, we'll have a big breakfast basically here on October 30th in basically awarding our scholarships for this year's recipients. It's going to be an amazing opportunity to show what these young students have earned and what they're doing. And also we're hoping to give over $1 million worth of scholarships this year.
Well, what about older people?
Older people.
What about people changing careers? They've already been out there working.
We look at them all the same.
Okay, okay.
We don't have any designation for them, old or young.
All right, that sounds good. Hey, let's take a break here, Eric Clements from CBC, and we'll be back to talk about more. I want to learn a lot about the actual celebration activities for the 60th anniversary. That's worth celebrating. We're back in a moment here on Meet in the Middle. And we are learning today about the 60th anniversary of Columbia Basin College operating in the Tri-Cities area. With me now is Annika Rachinsky. She's the head of Alumni Association there for CBC. And Annika, I wanted to talk with you about the celebration activities. I mean, 60 is a pretty big landmark. So what are you doing to bring attention to that?
Sure. So we've been celebrating the 60th anniversary all year through a series of outreach to our alumni and 60 Faces of CBC campaign, where we've been featuring different alumni throughout the community. And next Saturday, September 26th, we are hosting a community picnic and all-class reunion. It'll be from noon to 5 on September 26th, and basically what we're doing is we are just inviting the community to come on campus, see all the changes that have happened, and learn about some of the programs that we have, and just participate in a day-long activity of family-friendly events. We're going to have lots of our programs there on site with hands-on activities for kids. The planetarium is going to host free shows. The observatory will be open with opportunities to give tours, to look through solar telescopes. We're going to have local food trucks on site, some live entertainment for kids. We're going to have a Thomas and Friends show, and then we're going to have an all-class reunion as well from 3 to 5.
Well, that sounds like a great opportunity, especially to be able to bring children onto the campus and they get some kind of an image in their mind, like this is where, I want to go, or this is where I can go to college, and get a big setup for that at that time. So that's the big picnic.
Yeah.
Also, I know that, if I'm not mistaken, haven't you been looking for 60 voices to represent the 60 years? Where did you find those people?
Right, so throughout the year we've been doing what we call the 60 Faces of CBC campaign, and that's just basically an opportunity where we've reached out to our alumni and invited people to share their stories of how CBC affected them and how CBC changed their lives. So we put out a call to the community, and we had a lot of people respond, just sign up, talk about the different areas that they were in, certain professors or classmates or activities that affected them. And then we also worked with some local businesses to just look internally at their employee base, see who they have working with them, who's a CBC alumni, who could share their story about how they got to where they are with the help of CBC.
All right, well, I want you to pick out one of those and tell me one of those stories. What has stuck out to you?
Sure. So one of our people that we had was Eric Hill, who is a scientist at PNNL. He actually has, I think, something like 5 or 6 different degrees from a lot of different places, but he came to CBC as a first-generation student. He took a lot of classes. He really took advantage of the opportunity to have mentors. He connected really well with a lot of his professors, and he went from going to school to do one thing to just kind of totally shifting his focus, deciding that what he wanted to do was science, and then really leveraging the opportunities for internships and networking to actually get an internship at PNNL and then go on to work there.
Wow, so he started there, but he continued his education and 5 degrees later, at least. Yeah. Well, you mentioned that first generation, and what is, I think, really interesting about CBC is how well the Latino community here in the Tri-Cities has been served by the college. What do you know about that? What has been the transition of that over the years?
We have a lot of students who are first generation. One of the other people that we featured in our 60 Faces was a recent graduate, Christina Garza, and I think that her story is pretty typical of what we see. So she came to CBC right out of high school. She didn't really understand how the process worked. She did a great job of reaching out, connecting with advisors, with the Career Services Center, and also just really becoming connected with the foundation, taking advantage of scholarships and just building a relationship there. And then she actually has gone on to encourage her family members and friends and other people that she knows that don't have the experience to pursue higher education to go to CBC and to kind of help guide them through that process.
Yeah. All right, well, remind me again about the picnic. What day is that and what time is that?
So that is next Saturday, September 26th. It is from noon to 5, and it is free and open to the community.
And it's on the campus
On
of
the
CB.
CBC Pasco campus, yep.
Where?
It's going to be outside, so it's going to be kind of festival style. There's going to be booths everywhere and food vendors, and it'll be, parking will be right outside the hub building.
Okay, great. Annika, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I want to get back and ask Eric a couple more questions. So it seems that the big word these days is collaboration. And I have heard from time to time of a lot of collaboration that CBC has done with either other universities, other colleges, or local businesses. So that must be a pretty strong policy or desire for CBC.
Well, Christine, that's a great question, and I appreciate that. You know, Dr. Cummins is just an innovator in how he has provided the instruction to all of us in how we communicate and how we work with others within our community. And that's, again, you know, that's part of our name as a community college, is that we're trying to work within that community to bring those partnerships together to not only help our students, but also to help the college, but also help them find that new employee that they might need, or actually a new program that might help them be more successful in their organization that they're promoting. As long as we continue to do that, and that's collaborations, again, with universities and others, we want our students to continue on. We want them to grow and get better at what they do, and also have those opportunities to go forward. And so with that collaboration, it helps us lean towards them, our students, to help give them a roadmap of what their options are, because everybody has an individual choice of how their options are going to be, and also depending on their circumstances, mainly based on time and also dollars that are available for spending, that will dictate to them what their options may be. And, you know, versus short-term or long-term, we always have an option for them.
Yeah. Well, I want you to, in your mind, think of one of those collaborations and share that with me.
Well, I think right now the best collaboration we have is with Providence and Cadillac. You know, we're going through a new science center we're building over in Richland. That has been a huge collaboration between the college and the medical professions, as well as Providence themselves here in the Tri-Cities. Again, trying to meet the needs that they're having, and also other locations here of medical providers within the Tri-Cities that we want to collaborate with, and bring that sense of partnership to the college and then back to them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Tell me what's next. What is new on the horizon of higher education? What have we not seen a lot of right now, but we're going in that direction?
Well, I think you're going to see a lot more collaboration, again, with other universities coming onto the campus and actually serving classes. And one of those is, a prime example is Heritage University has partnered with us and will actually be giving classes at our CBC location to help those students have one location to go and make it easier on them to continue on their education. Those kind of collaborations, again, thinking about what's best for our students and their current situations, is how we've been so successful and will continue to be successful. Again, we're always trying to reinvent ourselves and re-engineer what we're trying to do as a college. And this is just one step of many that we're trying to do for our community base, with them in mind of what we can do to serve them the best from an education standpoint.
Yeah. Well, what I think is really interesting, if people have not driven around, just go in the afternoon after, you know, students are gone, drive around the parking lots of CBC. And if you haven't been out there in a long time, I think you'll be really amazed. There are a lot of new buildings that represent a lot of new programs.
You're absolutely right. And we're really hoping that next Saturday's event will be an opportunity for those people that maybe have not been on campus or never been on campus to take us up on our invitation to come out and let us show them and showcase this beautiful campus that is right here in the Tri-Cities, just waiting for it to be used and utilized even more than it is today.
Mm-hmm. So we learned a little bit earlier that 2/3 of the students, so if we have 8,000 students taking advantage of programs at CBC, 2/3 of those are like what your typical college age student is, and then 1/3 maybe being older students. You are, you know, dealing with a lot of people, a lot of young people just coming out of high school, which would be a typical college environment, and not to mention the Running Start program.
Correct.
which is just gets rave reviews.
Well, I'm really proud of that program, and for me personally, I've had 2 of my children go through the Running Start. Both of them continued on in finishing up, and so I think that part of the program for students today is a very, very good option, not only from a college option to really understand what the college life is about and what the expectations are going into the university level, but also giving them the opportunity to save some dollars and prepare themselves for university coursework with the same fact that they are here in town with their families. Maybe they have a small job that they're doing and saving that for that next education jump. But again, it's giving them access to a fantastic education right here in their own backyard.
Eric Clemens, I want to thank you for joining us, CEO of the CBC Foundation. And remember that CBC is celebrating 60 years in the Tri-Cities. They have a great event that you're all invited to. That's next Saturday on the campus in the afternoon. Yeah, there's food involved. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Christine, so much.
Yeah, we'll be back in a moment.